All right, I think we just have gone live here. Snow, snow, snow. Finally, a good bit of news for us. It's finally getting a bit of snow. Hope you guys are all doing well. I wanted to jump on and give you an update on the snow conditions at Revelstoke on Saturday, the 10th of February. We're pretty much heading straight into peak season now here in the ski season. And yeah, it's been a pretty topsy-turvy couple of weeks for us. But luckily, the warm trend does seem to be over for the time being. We've gone back to typical winter conditions. Just to kind of backtrack a little bit from to last weekend when things started to cool a lot more and we were seeing that return to the temperatures. We did see 10 centimeters of snow right at the top of the mountain at Revelstoke there, which helped freshen up conditions, taking them away from that crusty, quite icy conditions we were finding in the transition. And yeah, bit by bit, that top section has improved. We've had no new snow throughout the week, but I am going to get into what is lying ahead of us tomorrow and pretty much starting tonight, which I'm quite excited for. As you will have seen from the most recent vlog, you'll have noticed that the mid-mountain and certainly the lower mountain is not in the best condition right now. The thawing that we had the previous week really did a number on that base, and that's going to need a good probably 30 to 40 centimeters to really shore that up and get it back to some good temperatures, some good conditions. There's not much grooming that's been done on that section since, and there's quite a few areas that are actually closed now. When I mean closed, just like sections. Like if you watch the previous video, you'll have seen the section of Snow Rodeo, just because there's a lot of exposed rock and grass, which is quite shocking for this time of year. But it could be worse. There's a lot of other resorts which I know have struggled, and it's only going to take a couple of falls for that to really get back up to scratch. I know there's a couple of people already watching. Thanks for joining. I know it's a little bit late this evening. Be sure to get your questions and comments in the live chat. Make sure to say hi. Let me know where you're coming from. Are you coming to Revelstoke this coming weekend or in the next couple of weeks? What are your plans? Don't be afraid to say hi. So the reason why I was actually late today, I'm right in the middle of doing my avalanche safety training for level 1. I just had a video call with the attendees. We're actually going touring tomorrow out in the backcountry on Mount McPherson, which I'm super excited for. I'm a little bit nervous. It's a mountain I've never done before. It does look pretty big when you look at it from the resort. And be excited. So we're going to go touring on the fingers. Now, another reason why I'm a little bit nervous, there is a lot of snow forecast. So as of tonight, flurries are going to start rolling in. If you look at the resort webcams as of right now, it's actually already snowing on the top of Stella Chair, the Ripper, and the Stoke. So that there's flakes on the webcams, which is a good sign. Freezing level is all the way down to the valley right now. It was about -2 when I got home from work, so it's probably going to drop down a little bit further as we go into the night. We've got our typical southerly ridge winds. They're forecasting 3 centimeters just as we roll into around midnight, but then the bulk of the snow is coming in tomorrow, where they're saying on the Alpine, freezing level around 1,000 meters. They're saying 13 centimeters on Sunday right now. Which is going to be really welcome. It will really freshen up the trees and the bowls right at the top there to make some really nice soft riding. In the lower sections, we'll get some much needed snow as well. They will probably still be a bit icy underneath to watch out for, but as more of that snow increases, the riding should improve. The snow is just set to kind of continue a little bit into Monday morning as well before the sun pops out again. But all in all, they're forecasting anywhere between 15 to 20 centimeters across tonight and through to Monday morning. So 20 centimeters, right as we're going into a brand new week of skiing, a new week of arrivals here. And then the forecast for the rest of the week at the moment is looking cloudy with sunny periods throughout the week, but consistently hovering around that -10, that -4. So it's a little bit colder than maybe normal Revelstoke temperatures, and I think because the wind is going to slightly move towards the north. So if you are coming, I'd recommend maybe just packing an extra layer, or maybe bringing a toque or something to a neck warmer for a few days. But especially at the top there, that consistent cold again is just going to keep everything in really tip-top shape. Yeah, there's going to be some good groomers for sure off the top there. And from what I've heard this week, North Bowl and Greeley Bowl have been the better places. The southerly facing trees were still a little bit crusty, and I think that's probably because of that solar crust there. But the warm temps definitely seem to be in the rear view mirror now, because that was quite a depressing couple of weeks, guys. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, if you saw the picture on the community posts that I posted earlier, that was from yesterday. Glorious sunshine at Revy yesterday. It was an absolute beauty of a day. As soon as that sun comes out, everyone's mood is just automatically uplifted. And it looks like we might get some more sun after this first snowstorm rolls in. Okay, who's got questions? That was the first update. Who's coming? Come on, guys. What are your plans? Are you planning to come out to Revy? Looks like we've got a few here. Alan's joined in. Appreciate the updates. We will be there next Saturday. Awesome. Obviously looking... with the forecast past 48 hours, again, you just sort of be aware that could change. So definitely want to hit the refresh on that once this storm has rolled through, see if there's anything more coming. Michael, again, thanks for joining, mate. Thanks for doing another update. It's a pleasure. I'm really enjoying bringing these live updates to you and answering any questions. I've been watching the weather at Revelstoke pretty much non-stop for the past few days. It's crazy to see how quickly the weather changes. Yeah, it's pretty staggering, really, just to think how much we've kind of transitioned lately. January in particular, to have record cold temperatures, record warm temperatures, some good amounts of snow and rain. And now it's kind of like we've gone full circle again. But this sounds weird, but it's been pretty cold in town all day, and there's been this kind of like a low light cloud. If you like that thumbnail picture from this, that's from today at the top of the mountain. And yeah, you could just kind of feel that there was snow in the air. Do you know what I mean? You kind of, it's that certain temperature where you look at it and go, "Ooh, there's a big storm set to roll in." So yeah, I'm likely going to be waking up tomorrow, and there should be a couple of centimeters already on the ground before the bulk of it then falls on Sunday. So yeah, I'll try and save some for those who are coming next week. Thinking of you there, Alan. Yeah, I feel a lot more positive for this season than I did a couple of weeks ago. That's for sure. And someone was saying as well that Fernie got a big dump earlier in the week, which is good for them, because I know they were pretty hardly hit by the warming trend that we saw. Yeah, avalanche activity for that was just off the charts, really. Is the bottom of the mountain in... I don't know if the latter part of that's come through. Kim Jong-un's plane just touched down and it's nuking in Revi. Ainsley tumbled down, brake check. Come shred the power tomorrow with us. Nicholas, I'm going up Mount McPherson on the other side tomorrow. I'm doing my AST1 course. But tomorrow's going to be epic. Is Ainsley in one piece? Did he survive? Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be good tomorrow. Already just having a little peek at the webcam, and you can see the flakes. Freedom Rider, good to have you. Hello from Fernie. We have had fantastic conditions in the last few days, and more snow on the way. That's super. How were things after those on-mountain avalanches, Freedom Rider? Because I know there was a couple within bounds, if I remember rightly. Michael was asking, is the bottom of the mountain skiable? Yes, it is, but pretty much only via the last spike. And even, I'm going to say below the gondola, below the Stoke chair, your two best options are either the last spike right now or fast Freds. The groomers like your Snow Rodeo, Fella Buncher, Woolly Bully. I went down Woolly Bully today, very icy with a thin snow coverage. Now that should improve tomorrow, obviously, and I'll try and go out on Monday to check those ones out after the snow. But yeah, right now they were icy, which is understandable, right? Because they are the freezing level as bit by bit has come down throughout this week, and so those lower slopes have frozen up, but we haven't had enough fresh snow at those lower elevations. So we need more. Looks like that's what we're going to get tomorrow. Yes, it is skiable, but only in certain places. A lot of the rest have a lot of hazards, especially on Rodeo. Yeah, Rodeo looks like pretty much all of Rodeo below the Stoke just looks like a mogul field with tree shoots and patches. Ainsley, Nick is sad just because he couldn't do a brake check. Jealous. Yeah, I'm excited, a little bit nervous because those fingers look pretty, I don't want to say intimidating, but they certainly look quite challenging. If you're wondering what I mean by that, if you look over from the resort, you'll see McPherson, and there's like all these chutes, and it looks like a hand, each one. And that's where we're planning to go. So I just got off the briefing or the video call for that. So looking forward to it. And apparently Ainsley can't even spell break. Are you guys like doing this while sat next to each other in a bar, or are you just like in separate rooms in the hotel? What's going on? Ski Patrol had to come and save Ainsley. It's not going well for him. Oh, was it really that bad? We had a class 2 inbounds avalanche 2 weeks ago, and I got there just after it happened. No injuries. They've been cautious on terrain opening in the upper bowls due to AVI risk at Fernie. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, you've definitely still got to be cautious right now. Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on for the north as well, like near Terrace. I've read a couple of stories from there. Ainsley is in the hot tub cooling down. Okay. To be fair, I'm probably going to need that after tomorrow. We'll see. We're going to start early and try and finish early because I'm not much of an American football fan, but I hear the Super Bowl is on tomorrow, so no doubt the bars will be pretty full. So might see you downtown somewhere, Nick and Ainsley. Definitely, if it goes well tomorrow, I'll be wanting to have a beer and sit down. We watched someone shred the peak of Mount Mackenzie down into Greeley Bowl, which caused an avalanche. Ooh, I know some of those chutes around the far side. I've seen similar thing like that happen before as well. It's actually one of those couloirs is on my bucket list to do, but I'm not going to do it without a guide or someone who's done that before. I think just because it's such a steep steep angle, right? That things can happen. You've got the video. We'll show you tomorrow with a beer. Oh, definitely. Let's do that then, Nick. Let's agree. Let's meet somewhere up in town for a beer tomorrow. And he was alone too. Ooh. Yeah, that's not. If you're doing that, you do want to try and be with a buddy, because if you get caught in that and you've not got anyone you, it's not an easy area to kind of get up to assist. You know what I mean? All I've done for the last 3 days with online training is look at avalanche videos and see responses of people reacting, like how they deal when an avalanche happens in front of them and how they get the transceiver out and the probe. And so, yeah, I'm just thinking about it all, and even just seeing like little slides underneath the gondola on Kill the Banker, right, because of the change in temperatures. It's like, oh, now I recognize that. But yeah, they can. I've seen a couple really roll out on those sections by Mackenzie, but at least he was okay. No Ainsley though for the beer. Why? What? Apparently you're not invited, Ainsley. For people who don't get towed by Snow Patrol only. He's already wasted from Revy today. Yeah, I mean, it's that steepness on the mountain can get you, right? The legs especially. Well, I don't know what passes did you guys come on, because I guess if you bought the multi-day passes here in town, then you do have a rest day included. But yeah, I don't think tomorrow's a day to have a rest day, guys. I think tomorrow is a day to get up on the hill and just shred and shred until you can't shred anymore. Worry about the sore legs next week when you're back at work. I got to run. Thanks again, and have a good Sunday. Cheers, Michael. Always good to have you on, and yeah, have a good rest of your weekend too. Alexandra, thanks for joining. No rest days. Okay, definitely no rest days. Nick drove 4 hours to Red, and the OT was terrible, and came straight back to the goods at Revy where it's nuking. Awesome. Was it snowing then as you came over on the ferry? Because it's definitely snowing up top right now, and slowly I think it's going to be venturing down the mountain tonight. Like, no, I'm looking at Norm right now. I wonder if I can share some pictures in this for you guys. There's a probably a good one. It's snowing on the outpost as well, so we know that everywhere on that side's getting some good stuff. Let me see if I can upload this picture for you. It's nuking snow. I love all the different connotations. Like when I was in Japan, the word we would use is puking. I think my parents in the UK found that very funny. How can I add a picture? I know there's a way I can add a picture. Possibly not. So, Nick, did you literally go to Red and then just turn straight back around? Did you do any skiing at Red? Sorry, Bramski. Nick got caught face down, ass up in unlimited assets today, and we think he's concussed. Probably having a beer is not a good idea then, Nick. Did 4 runs, pure crust. Ainsley had a hard time there too. Sounds like you guys have had a day. I'm looking forward to hearing about this. Just save yourself. Make sure you can have a good day tomorrow, eh? Try and time it tomorrow so that you can get there, do a couple of runs, and then get there when they drop the rope at Separate Reality and Lemming Line, which is normally around 10-ish. So my advice to you is, if you're getting up for first thing in the morning, try do 2 or 3 runs on the south-facing side. So something like a Tally-Ho Glades is always a good one to start with. Then maybe do a Hot Sauce or Still Life Glades, Clyde Secret Glades, maybe run down Rodeo to the chairlift. And then normally by that time, once you come up the Stoke chair after your second or third run, they drop the rope. You always see people waiting, but I that's wasted ski time. So, yeah. Does the gondola ever open slightly before 8:30? Great question. No, but if you're booked onto the First Tracks program, then you get up 45 minutes before everybody else. So they have a limited number of slots every day. And yeah, you can't book like sort of last minute for them. You have to book at least a day out, I think. But I've done that a few times. It's so worth it, especially after fresh snow. So I don't know, like, might be worth calling and seeing if you could book in on Monday, if that's what you're curious to do. But they don't sort of, open it to the general public before 8:30. Any recommendations on where to get multi-day passes? Well, I mean, right now, obviously it's in peak season. Your best, if you book on the resort website 48 hours in advance, there's still a little bit of a discount. Do you have any season passes anywhere else though, Rich? Because one of the things I love out here, which I've never even heard of in Europe, was reciprocals. So I don't know if you've got a season pass anywhere else or anything like that. The options get a lot more limited as you get further into the season. So, yeah. But yeah, 48 hours in advance is your best bet. Don't want to be paying full window price. No. Okay. So yeah, website 48 hours in advance. That's the best option, Rich. But good question. Got to go check on Ainsley in the hot tub. I think he's passed out. Poor guy, used to skiing the East Coast. Okay, Nick, make sure you guys are both okay and rested for a big day of skiing tomorrow. Yeah, I'll drop you a message actually probably tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, let's maybe figure out going for a beer somewhere in town. Make sure everybody comes back in one piece tomorrow, hey? That's the aim. But have a good time. Tomorrow should be relatively quieter, although I reckon a few people, the locals will probably definitely be out tomorrow with the fresh snow. But yeah, it's exciting. This will be, this will be the most significant snowfall we've had in quite a few weeks. So yeah. Gracias Ridge had the best snow today. Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed going over that way a couple of weeks ago and doing Uno and Tres. Duo does not look that fun, but Quattro I did like in my first season, and I keep missing it because it's like quietly signposted. But I really want to do Quattro, especially when there's fresh snow in there, because just the gradient and the angle of that just keeps the snow so well. Worth the little hike, that one is, once you get over. We stuck on the right hand side, and here the left is hard. What do you think? Well, if you stick to the right of Gracias Ridge, you kind of get stuck in that creek, right? But once there are some cliff areas on Gracias Ridge, but if you time it right, you can traverse. If you come back on the left-hand side of the right side, that brings you back into North Bowl, and it's an easier way to get back round onto on the piste and access the Ripper Chair, or get back round to the Stoke. Yeah. Keep getting stuck at that creek. Sometimes get above it, and then it's much better. Yeah, if you get above it on that left-hand side, and then you kind of go into, you find yourself in top 40 glades and then into back 40. But yeah, it's so narrow in that section. Really kills the knees, I've found. But yeah, Quattro's on my list today. Need to do a hike of the sub peak at some point soon, and maybe with this clearer weather coming in after this storm, that'll be the time to do it. Had such a good run off Powder Assault very early in the season, coming straight down into the bowl, and yeah, that is one I do want to do again soon. When does the bottom half typically open in the season? I mean, by a normal season, you're skiing down that in the second week of January. Normally, it's dependent, obviously, normally on how much snow we get at the altitudes at the start of the season, and the last two seasons so far have been different but similar in a lot of ways. So, for example, I mean, this year we were downloading to begin with at the end of the day, so you couldn't ride it all the way to the bottom. Last year we didn't have a lot of like fresh snow, but it was cold enough to make enough snow so that you could actually ski all the way down to the bottom at the start of last winter. Now, in terms of, this is kind of going off on a tangent as well, but you'll see why in a second. So we have a historical snowfall tracker on the resort website, right? And you can compare it to all the previous seasons. Strangely enough, this year is pretty much neck and neck with last year in terms of where we're at. And it was at this point, going into this coming week now, that things really kicked up a gear for us. We got back-to-back storms through late Feb and into March, which set up an amazing second half of the season. And yeah, closing day last year, you were still riding down to the base of the resort. So yeah, I mean, it's still rideable right now, but we do need some fresh snow at lower elevations just to top things up, because there's a lot of rocks and mud that's been kicked up by the cats, just because there's it's digging so close into the ground there. Nick says, good to see you back, Ainsley. Did the doctor stitch you back together? It was a quick fix up, that was. When the bottom half is good, do people still mostly ski Stoke and Ripper? Yeah, especially if there's fresh snow and powder. the it depends, right? I mean, if there's a couple of long lift lines at a Gondi or the Stoke chair, you can always whiz around and do a couple of mid-mountain laps. But I think typically it's an area where you find a couple of the intermediate skiers where they can ski real nice long runs away from, the sort of the more expert powder chasers. But certainly, yeah, when it's good, I mean, people just spread around that. I wouldn't say they're confined to one area. You do get a period sometimes where ripper bottlenecks, and I think that kind of happens a short while after they've dropped the rope on separate reality, just because everybody obviously does their first laps there, and then they all end up down at the ripper chair. Speaking of which, how is the tree skiing on ripper right now? I'll be honest, Freedom Rider, I've not been in there since the warming trend, so I can't really give an update on that. If conditions are good on Monday, I may go check those out. But I mean, the warming, as you know, definitely released quite a bit of the snowpack. So, I think a lot of features have probably become quite exposed again, especially in the lower elevations. Rich says, any areas of runs that might still have fresh snow a day or two after a snowstorm? Yeah, lots of places, to be honest, Rich. I mean, we're talking here about, well, it depends where the most traffic has been. I think you're still going to be finding snow in the North Bowl and Greeley's just because it's so big. South Bowl is potentially always a good look as well, because everybody goes up to the sub peak and tries to drop in on that north side and misses that one out. But you can actually get some of the really good top alpine sections of South Bowl that then bring you into the runs of hot sauce and jalapeno. You can get some good turns in there. I got some in good turns in there at Christmas, 3 or 4 days after we'd had snow, and yeah, that can happen. Bramstick channel again. I'm out. Nick is jealous. He actually fell over a bunch of times and lost his skis. Do you guys do any skiing, or do you just fall over? Pretty good, especially the top 2 out of 3. Vertigo, 3 Bears, North, Greeley, and Gracias. Some spots deep in Ripper. Do you know what? I've done 3 Bears a few times, and I have yet to do it when it's been good. Every time I've gone in there, it's been crap. And everybody says good things about 3 Bears, but I've just not got in there and found and had the best of conditions for it. But everything else, I mean, Vertigo has probably been a favorite. I've been exploring Vertigo quite a bit when we've had fresh snow recently. Yeah, those have been some of my faves. We ski ice like pros, don't do powder well. We ski the east. If I ever go out the east, I would be keen just to experience it, because every person who comes from the east says the same thing, like, oh, it's just ice. There's not a lot. But, I've seen pictures of Le Massif on the coast. I've heard things of Tremblant, and from what I've heard, they seem okay. But obviously, yeah, not BC. It's not 10 meters of powder. But that's what makes BC so special. Okay is the word here. Massive and J Peak are top in the east. J Peak, I don't think I've heard of that one. Let's do a quick Google. J Peak Road, Vermont. Oh, nice. It's got a huge lodge at the base that looks an awfully lot like Kicking Horse. Which apparently someone said Kicking Horse was very icy yesterday. Don't know if anybody's been over that way. Jays are known for its amazing glades, world-class glades, as hard as Revi. Oh, okay, nice. That's good to know. J Peak is awesome and gets as much snow as many Western resorts. Okay, how much? Let's have a look. Snowfall. Average snowfall of 288 inches. What's that in meters? 7 meters. Nice. That's a good good amount. Mount Tremblant is good as well. It's been having a good start, but icy patches. Yeah. I've had enough of ice here. I definitely had enough of ice for one season. I was riding on my touring setup skis today, just while I went up to do some practice for transceiver work, and yeah, it was, you could feel it. You could feel it big time on those mid-mountain groomers. It's tricky when there's no snow because there's nothing to groom, right? And you're just at the mercy of temperature changes and precipitation. I think that's what everywhere's been in. But I'm glad we're certainly looking like we're pulling out of it slowly here. If we keep getting some snow, like eventually the lower sections will improve a little bit. If not, I don't know. The J cloud is legendary. Storms seem to drop over the mountain and leave little in areas that are close by. Oh, that's interesting. Off to bed, catching an early flight in the morning from Toronto to Calgary to Kelowna, and then drive to Revi. Going to be a long day. Well, best of luck, Rich. Hope all the flights go okay. And yeah, take it easy on the road tomorrow. Should hopefully be straightforward coming from Kelowna. But yeah, we'll save some snow for you all for Monday skiing. Guys, I am not going to be too far behind Rich there. I got to do some final bits of prep for the day touring tomorrow. Just wondering if anyone's got any further questions on the conditions or any comments. When is Revi planning on adding more lifts? I'll be honest, Nick. There's no date. You know, there has been sort of visuals out there. I looked at the master plan. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, one thing at a time, right? Their focus primarily right now is on the accommodation at the base of the resort there. So the new hotel, which will have a restaurant in, and then they're also building staff accommodation as well a little bit further up that road. That's the priority right now. There's been no proposed timeline. There is one lift that they have openly talked about, which is they want to put it, I think, somewhere around mid-mountain and take it up to the far side of South Bowl to open up Montana more within bounds. But that's, again, that's sort of, there's no, that's just based off visuals. Everybody's been asking that question for a few years now. It's yeah, there's no development on that. But the golf course, yeah, that's going. That's Cabot golf course. I don't know if we don't get much more snow here. I don't know. They could be back working on that by end of March or April. Who knows? I'm not much of a golfer, so it doesn't really excite me. I've like tried. I've gone once or twice for a social drink and to drive around a buggy. I just never really got golf. Just hope it doesn't become Whistler. Well, I don't think like it. We're certainly not ever gonna have the lift queues like Whistler. Thank goodness. But still expands gradually. I think that's one thing that they do. They're doing really well here. I mean, look, there's so many things at play, right? But yeah, things are happening fairly slowly here, and I think that's not always a bad thing. Tim Sawchuk, thanks for watching. We're just about to wrap it up here, but send a bit to the Kootenays too. I'll do my best. We'll blow a little bit of snow your way. I don't know what the forecast is heading towards the cusp. Hope some of the lodges and resorts get some, because I know they need it. Knowing the owners of Revi, I don't expect they'll be too quick on building lifts. Climate change, time to move up from the coots, head deep into the mountains. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for joining. I will aim to come back in one piece from Mount McPherson tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow in a powdery Revelstoke. I'll catch up with some of you in town for a beer. Final question. Do you have any friends in neighboring resorts who are struggling with snow conditions? Well, I've heard that Kicking Horse is pretty icy right now, and they've only had about 300 centimeters so far this season. So their base can't be very, very good. I've not heard any good news coming out of, actually, the guys on the chat earlier here was saying Red was awful and they came straight back around and came back to Revi. I can only imagine there's a similar situation in the Okanagan resorts like your Vernon's and Big White. I don't know. Normally we hear news of those. I know that everything on the West Coast has pretty much been closed, Emily. Your smaller resorts around Vancouver, Grouse, Cypress, Seymour. I imagine quite a few people from the cities will be coming out this way over the next week. Nick, thanks for the great content. See you tomorrow. Appreciate it. See you guys on the hill. Sorry, see you in the pub, rather. El Nino and high times in the solar cycle. Enjoy the snow. Thanks, Tim. Hope you guys get some over there as well this coming weekend. And Red sucks. Right. And on that note, we're wrapping up. Appreciate everybody joining. It's been another awesome live stream. Same time, roughly next week. I'll try and make it a little bit earlier because I know everybody, this is late for us all. But if it's your first time here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're nearly at 2,000 subscribers right now. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. If you're watching this after the live, you can still comment in the regular section below, and then I'll get back to those and respond to any comments or questions. Cheers, guys. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and see you in the next video.